Hi, and thanks for joining me on the Dare and Chatter podcast. Today I'm going to read blog number 229 entitled, I'll Tell You What Scary Is. For this blog, I chose a picture with a quote from comedian Bill Burr that I really love. I'm going to read that quote first and then segue into reading the rest of the blog. At the end, I'm going to add a few thoughts in as well, just to kind of round out the overall context of this. So the quote from Bill Burr reads as follows. Realize that sleeping on a futon when you're 30 is not the worst thing in the world. I'll tell you what's worse, sleeping in a king bed next to a wife that you're not really in love with, but you married for some reason anyway. And you got a couple of kids and a job that you hate. You'll be laying there fantasizing about sleeping on a futon. There is no risk when you go after a dream. There is a tremendous amount of risk in playing it safe. I love that quote, and that segues right into the blog itself, where I pick up with, yeah, that is my definition of scary. To play it safe my whole life, that scares the crap out of me. It's not that I am all for everybody taking outlandish risks, like traveling the world with only $100 in your pocket and figuring it out on the way, or quitting school and starting to work on a cruise ship, something like that. Keep in mind, school will always be there, but the time in your life when you have the freedom to be wild and young and free is going to come to a close at some point. Now that I am married, my life plans have been greatly altered. For the better, by the way. But I have already chased my outlandish dream. My dream was to be a pro racquetball player. And I have gotten to travel and see some of the world. To do so, I may have had to eat top ramen way more than I would have liked and live off of bean burritos from Taco Bell, but that was part of the adventure. I had to do those things to make sure that I had gas money to get to the next tournament or a plane ticket to get to and from the next Pro Tour event. I did this until age 30. Then I retired from my Pro Tour career and joined the real world. I went back to school online and finished my degree in business marketing. I bounced around a little while in different sales roles until I landed where I am today and have been for the past 8 years. I'm making good money, paying off debt, and saving as much of the money as I can, just in case. You never know when the world could change my circumstances. Who knows? My company may get bought out, or it may go under. One of my competitors might build a better mousetrap, and we as a company die a slow and painful death as our competitors leapfrog us into the future. Previously, I had the ultimate freedom in my life as an unencumbered adult playing racquetball full-time. And I am working on rebuilding that freedom through the financial means to have walk-away money in the bank and no debt to hold me back. If you're not familiar with the term walk-away money, that means that you have enough money to leave a job that you don't like or no longer want to do, or something better comes along. You have the financial freedom to pursue that without any hesitation about how you're going to pay your bills and support your lifestyle. That is one of my new goals. I knew very early on that I never wanted to be a guy that didn't take a chance. My family would have been more comfortable if I had made some different choices. But at the end of the day, I am my own person and I have to make those decisions for myself. They saw the benefit of my decisions eventually. I am a happy person because of my risks and failures and wins and losses. I have grown, sometimes the hard way, but that's how life is. I have a great memory bank of stories and experiences to look back on and to share with the world. I outgrew some of my own fears and limitations by throwing myself into situations and figuring them out. On occasion, I had to ask for help, but there is nothing wrong with that. That is strength, not weakness. I waited until I had no other choice, had exhausted all of my own options, and then I asked for a hand. I have had the opportunity to meet a lot of people in the course of my life, and there is a clear division between those who have taken a leap of faith and those who have not. Those who have played it safe have certainly missed out on things, and they know it. Some had kids and got married early and settled down. They have a house, a spouse, and a couple of kids, and their life revolves around them until the kids leave that household. If this is truly what they wanted in life, then that is great. More power to them. But I find it hard to believe as many people who end up there did so by choice. I have had some deep conversations with people that made me feel strongly that they did what they thought they should do, not what they wanted to do. Part of them is empty inside, and they are haunted by that question of what if. Maybe I got lucky. My dad is certainly someone who has mostly done exactly what he wanted. Some of his choices crashed and burned, and financially, he and the family paid the price for that at times. He never hit that big financial win that he had always hoped for, but he managed to take care of us no matter what. I came from somewhat humble beginnings. I never thought of us as poor, even when my grandparents were bringing groceries to the house once a week. So I had someone that made me understand the value of taking risks, even if the downsides seem highly impactful. Maybe I intuited that I needed to take my risks sooner when it was just me who was going to take the hit if things didn't pan out. I decided at age 15 that I would become a pro racquetball player. Not that I hoped to or it would be nice. I decided that this would become a reality. I made it happen through a ton of hard work, a lot of help from others, and an unbending intent. I brought this dream into a reality, and I lived this dream from age 15 to age 30. After I retired, I turned to coaching and have helped guide others on their own journey, whether it was the same end goal as mine or to help someone make the team and not finish last in the Intercollegiate Championships event. So here is a takeaway. Take that leap of faith. At any age, there are risks and sometimes there are penalties for falling short. But the upside is worth the risk, even if the end result is some scars and some great stories as the only payoff. You have to answer the question, that nagging question that so many people lie awake at night staring at the ceiling and wondering, what if? Whatever it is that you do, think you want to do, or are willing to try, go do it. The younger you are, the less other people that are going to be impacted, and the more time you have to course correct if needed, or get a real job to pay off some of the debt that you've amassed. The experiences will shape your life and expand your view of the world. That alone will be worth the journey. I have signed autographs in two completely different worlds, unrelated to one another. When the public speaking thing takes off, I will be adding a third component to that. How many people have you met that can say that? I'm not saying this to brag. I am telling you to encourage you to chase your own dreams, whatever they are. You will spend the rest of your life working, so go play and chase down your dreams while you can. I wish you luck in your endeavors. So, a couple of additional thoughts. I definitely did not make any money as a professional racquetball player. I spent far more money traveling to different cities, paying entry fees, all of the other expenses that went along with that process. I've spent way more money doing that than I ever won in prize money. But that wasn't the point. I didn't get into the sport of racquetball to become rich. I wanted to see what I was capable of. I wanted to find something that would allow me in an individual sport to push myself, break through my own perceived boundaries, and learn about the world. And racquetball happened to be the perfect venue for that. It's an individual sport. I did not start playing until I was 15, so by many standards, that's way too late, but I was still able to make it happen. I turned pro at 24 and played professionally for 6 years the last 3 years squeezing into the top 20 in the world as a pro racquetball player. I have caught passes from NFL quarterbacks. I have run 40-yard dashes against other NFL players and professional athletes. I've done treadmill workouts with Olympians. The personal trainer that I worked with during that time in my career worked with a ton of other athletes, and that was an amazing experience in and of itself. There's no way I ever would have done any of those things had I decided to play it safe. By putting myself out there, by taking the risk, taking that leap of faith, knowing a few things to get started and learning the rest on the fly, I was able to chase after the one dream that I had when I was 15 years old. I made it come to fruition, and as a coach, I am able to share a lot of things that you should do and many of things that you shouldn't do, regardless of what the goals actually are. And when I say coach, I don't limit that to being a racquetball coach. Although I have been the head coach at ASU for the last 14 years, I have done a lot of coaching and mentoring off of the court in that time as well. And it doesn't have to be about racquetball. The lessons apply across the board. If there is something that you are really committed to or that you really want to try, the sooner in life you do it, probably the better. I would not undertake an entrepreneurial adventure at this stage of my life because of the possible penalties that could go with it. I have done that in the past and lost basically everything and started over. Now that I'm married and a whole lot closer to retirement than I have been at any other stage of my life, I don't want the financial risk, and I don't think I have the stomach for it. When I was younger and single, I was the only one impacted by the decision to make some of those leaps of faith, trying to hit the big time with an opportunity. Now, I am much more geared towards putting together a solid financial plan for the near future and retiring early and being able to really enjoy my life before I get to the point where I'm too old to do anything. I don't want to sit on the back porch and watch the sunset every night. I want to travel. I want to experience things. I want to do an awful lot of things that take a certain level of physicality to be able to do, and I can't wait till I'm 65 to do that. So I am planning my life accordingly. But I have the luxury of looking back, knowing that I pursued the one thing that I was sure about that I wanted to do in my life. I've already checked that box and I have had that experience. I'm not missing out by playing it safe at this point in my life because I've already taken my huge risk and again, made no money for that risk, but lived the life and the experiences that I was hoping to get out of that. I can't stress enough that you have to answer the question. You can drive yourself crazy for the rest of your life with those two words. What if? So, whatever it takes, as soon as possible, get started with something and go for it absolutely to the fullest extent. Give yourself an opportunity to experience the things that will make you see the world differently, change you as a person, and make you better because of all of those experiences. Then when you come out of it, you can start your course correction, so to speak, make up the money that you missed out on, whatever it is, and set yourself up for success for the next stages in your life as well. But don't ever miss the chance to jump in and do something crazy, especially when you're young enough that the penalties are pretty minimal. With that, I will conclude this blog and this podcast. As always, I wish you luck in your endeavors. If you have anything that I can help you with, please reach out to me through my website at darrenchatter.com. That's DARRINCHATTER.com. Go to the contact page, shoot me an email, and let me know how I can help. Go get them.